Hello everyone, my name is Kate Marshall. The name of my channel is called Inked Paper Art, and today is day 151 of 365 days of junk journal ideas. We are going to be making some charms today. These are very scrappy, fun little charms. You can make a big bunch of them in just a short amount of time, and you can basically use anything to make them. I have an assortment of mostly Tim Holtz things on the table. I don't think this is, but everything else here I think is Tim Holtz. And then I'm going to use antique paper scraps, things from my scrap bin, music paper book page, ledger, all of that kind of stuff from my scrap bin. And then I have a couple other embellishments off to the side that we'll talk about. But these are very easy to do. And so basically you can turn anything into a charm. What we're going to do is we're going to pull out some things to kind of layer up. And we're going to make little scrappy charms that you can clip onto either the front of your journal. You could clip them onto a tag. And so what we're looking for here, really just anything. It does not really matter at all. But I'm going to make a little pile of just some random bits that I think might be helpful in this project. I'm going to make a couple little piles. There we go. That's enough of those. And then I'm going to slide these back in here. I like to keep these in these little baggies because I find it easier whenever I am looking for something if it's in its original packaging. However, at some point, everything does get dumped in a bin. And I also have a bin of random Tim Holtz pieces. So there's those. Now, the reason my stamps are out here is because we can take stamps and turn those into charms too. It's a Tim Holtz stamp sticker book, but you can turn these into charms. So we'll be doing that. I also have the book of words because I do want words on these as well. So those are there. I have some other words that I just randomly found. It doesn't really say where they came from in my craft room. And then we have these. These are collage tiles. So I'm looking for little bits of paper, and it doesn't really matter where I find my little bits of paper. These are called collage strips. And so whatever I can find to play with is what I'm going to find to play with. I'm going to look in my scrap bin as well because I do want to mix in antique things in here just so that I have a nice variety of new and old. But the reason why I like these is because you can cut these up into little pieces. So those will leave whole for the moment. And then I have the larger ones because these collage strips come in two sizes. And so some pieces of them will be large and some pieces of them will be small. So for size comparison, the left is the small and the right is the large, obviously. But you can see how each individual little piece is a very different size. And so because we're making collage layers, we're going to want different sizes. Okay, so that's all the stuff, the new stuff, right? We've got piles of these out here. Now let's talk about things that we can use out of our scrap bin. So I could use offcuts of ledger. Any little scrappy thing will work. Whatever I can find here, and I'm just pulling random stuff. Yeah, all of this is good. This is good. Just random little pieces. I mean, that's probably a pretty good start. And then I do have some thicker. This one I like because it's thicker, so I'm going to keep that one at hand too. Let's just go ahead and tear this one down so that we can use it. So this is thicker antique French ledger, and I like it because it's got this tiny, tiny little writing on it. So let's use this one as well. And that's the only whole sheet that I think I'm going to use. And so if you have the little Tim Holtz paper chopper, that is a great, thing for this project. I actually did not bring a paper cutter in here. So I'm going to follow my lines and cut myself out some little strips of this. Here we go. And I'm just going to cut little strips. And it does not matter to me if they're exactly straight. I would prefer them to be straight, but it doesn't matter if they're exactly. I can kind of follow some ledger lines here. And I want some thick and some thin. So basically after I prepare my pile of little scrappy bits, then we can get to assembling. So all of this stuff, I'm just going to cut as we need it. We just need little strips. So there's some little strips of that. This is new book page, and I would prefer not to use any new right now. This is old. Let's do some strips of this. So you're just getting scraps out of your scrap bin and chopping them. And these are about, I don't know, 1/2 inch. This is a beautiful one. About 1/2 inch wide. And then however long you want them to be, I'm just cutting. And so then some music is always good. So we'll take some music. That might be too thick. We'll see. Little bits of music. Okay, so I have a nice assortment started. We can work on the rest of that there. And so let's talk about these guys. So you can start with these if you have these. If you don't have these, there are digitals that are similar to this out there. Maybe you have some offcuts of some digitals that you printed, and that will work as well. So I'm going for these 2 little green bits right here. And there's 2 green ones. So this is an exercise very much like regular collaging, where you're just, you're just taking little bits and you're assembling those little bits. But in today's project, we're going to turn those little bits into some decorative charms. And so now I've got some neutrals. That black one, I don't know if I want that black one. Let's see what else is in here. We've got some green. These go by color, so you got to find the right color for your project. Like these little flowers are nice. We'll take those. And let's see. I like this red lace one for my current journals. It's a little too wide. Let's see how it works in the end. I might trim it down, and I might just trim this right now into 2. Just because it's 1 right now doesn't mean it can't be 2. So there's some little red ones. Let's do this map right here, and let's just trim that into a couple. So if you get a good strip and you're just trimming, you could cut all the way up this. All right, so here's some more red. Let's trim a couple more of these. I really like these, and I think they were a great invention. I don't know who started the strip idea, but I think they're great. You can use them in so many different ways. And so this one right here could be 2. So anyway, we have some strips going. I want some pink ones. I just need to find some pink strips, and then we'll be good to go. So somewhere in here, there is a pink section. And we're just going to trim some pink ones. Now, I like to mix in the old stuff, but you don't have to mix in the old stuff. You could leave it where they're all just Tim Holtz things. You could leave it where it's all digital things. That's fine too. The overall look, you're looking for 3 to 5 pieces of whatever it is that you're adding in there. So I'm just going to trim off these neutral ones, these couple pink ones, and then we're good. And this one I'll just trim into 2. Okay, so we've got the big strips cut. We've got some, assembly here of little pieces that are old. We have these little numbers. I've got words and stamps over here. And then these are the only other thing that I would cut. And I would cut these and make a separate pile, because we've got little piles, right? We're keeping it organized. And these guys, they're really just for color. I don't really care what the image is. I'm just looking for color. If it goes with my theme for color, I might do it. Like that one's a little harder to use, but there we go. There's that one. And so I'm just going to cut up a couple of these. I don't look not using the purple today. Nope. And so little tiny bits, just like that. All right. We might trim that into 2. And I kept these very small. These are the small Tim Holtz little strip things. Let's do some yellow. We don't have any yellow in our project. You could cut them the other way too. They don't have to be cut, just side to side like I'm doing. You could definitely cut them the lengthwise. And I'll just leave that whole, and we'll trim that in half. Okay, so I have some little things to play with. Now, ideally, you would find this in your scrap bin, but if you don't find it in your scrap bin, this is a good start. Let's take these little guys. You could ink them if you want. We're just going to start from big, and we're just going to layer up 3 to 5 elements and move on. So I've got these little squares right here. And again, I would probably cut them in half. So let's make a pink one to start with. And I'm just going to cut that right there. I'm going to save this one that says Paris. I'm going to match that up with some kind of ledger. So here's some ledger. That's pretty cute. Let's see, we might need to go this way. Let's go that way. And I'm going to trim this off. It's a little long. There we go. Now we need something with some kind of pattern or something that's pretty. We could do that in the back. We could do this in the front. I might do it right here in the front. That's pretty good. Now, the last thing that I would want in this one is some kind of like handwriting or something like that. Trying to make that work. And I think it will. And instead of trimming everything with scissors too, like we could tear this once we're done. So I'm going to leave that long and I will tear it. Now I want a little word on the top. And so whatever kind of words you can find, like that shine right there would work. And I'm just going to put it right here on this pink thing. And so we're going to take this little shine word off. I don't know where these came from. It's a washi word. It rolled over on itself and I'm trying to fix it, but it's not wanting to fix. There it goes. Little washi word. I'm going to put just a little tiny bit of art glitter. I know these have been in my craft room for probably 10 years. So I'm just going to stick art glitter on there. But other than that, we're not using glue today. I'm just backing things that need backed with art glitter. There's that. That's going on my little pink word or my pink label here. And it's just a fun little word. Now we need to position whatever we're putting on the top kind of near the bottom because we are going to put an eyelet in this. You don't have to. I'm going to show you 2 ways. One with an eyelet, one without. So layer everything up just however it is. And then we're going to tap it down. So tap it on your desk to make everything go to the top up here and be lined up. And then that's where we're going to take our little hole punch, and whatever kind of hole punch you have is fine. I'm going to use the small side on this guy, and I'm going to do a small little hole right here at the top. Just a small one like that. I'm not putting an eyelet in this. I'm literally going to put a bulb pin and we're going to tear off the bottom of that. And that's going to be my little paper dangle, little paper charm. There's a couple different colors of bulb pins in this jar. I'm going to set that down for a minute. There we go. And so there's my little charm. And then I like to tear off the bottom part right here. Just, you know, kind of line them up and see, okay, this looks good torn right after this B. And so when it's on something, you're going to have this little paper dangle. And it's going to have some kind of word that you like, whatever you like on there. It kind of moved after I glued it. But whatever word you like on there, and that's the way they're going to go. And we're just going to sit here and we're going to make little paper charms. Even this little piece can be used for something, so we'll save it. I'm going to get out a couple of these so I don't have to fight with the jar, but there we go. And then I'm going to use the eyelet and put some eyelets in them, and then we'll hang the eyelet ones from ball chain. So there's the kind of basic overall thing. And then, like I said, this could clip on the front of your journal. It could be a dangle off of a page. It could be the tag topper. A bulb pin just gives you a lot of flexibility with where you use it in your journal. But that's what we're doing today. Just simple little things. I'll make a bunch more. So let's start with this time. Maybe we want to put something like that. This would be instead of like one of these words, and I really do want to use these up. So let's use true friendship this time, or remember. There's lots of good words on here. So let's use those, and let's find them a nice resting place. So here's a little piece of ledger. I like the way that looks, and we'll tear off that bottom down there. Just a rough torn edge at the very bottom one. Okay, now we need something else on here. Something else. I want something where it will hold the word. So I'm looking for something that kind of has a place. The black words, like these ones where they're outlined in black, those actually work really well for this project. Like I can put this little yellow one on here, and that's okay, but I don't have a journal that uses those colors. So let's go with some book page. Let's get some book page in here. And that book page can go back there. And it can also get torn off. There we go. Where it's just going to peek out a little tiny bit. Good. All right. And now let's put something else on this term. I mean, I could really do this. Just a little bit of that. And I'm just going to tear it. That's what I said, scraps. Just go in your scrap bin. You do something like that. I do want a word on here. So let's put a word on there. We might only get the XOXO. Let's do it. And then we're going to put a little bit of glue. I just use the glue because these are super old. If yours are new, maybe you could just stick them on there. So that guy's going to go right on this. There we go. And then we're going to do that little hole thing. So tap it at the top. Do the small little hole. Put it through a bulb pin. And there's another one. So really, honestly, once you have your mess on your desk with little bits, it goes pretty fast. The other thing that this is great for is at the end of a journal making process, like, you know, you finish the journal and you have all those little scraps that you're like, do I throw these in the trash or do I keep them forever and put them in my scrap bin? It's just easier at the end of a project to use whatever scraps are left from that journal making session and just make some of these. Now I know, you know, some of us we're done at that point and we don't want to continue to craft. So I get that too. But, you know, if you have the inclination to use up your scraps, this is a good project. So let's do something like that. Let's do this ledger in the back. Too creamy. We're going to need something else like this ledger. That ledger is good. And they don't have to be long either. You could make them very tiny. And let's put an eyelet in this one just to show you both ways. So we need something in the middle. We have, you know, two old things together. I need something in the middle, something longer and blue preferably, or that goes with blue. I say that, but there is this. I don't think I want that in there. I don't think I do. How about this? It has a number on it already. So let's layer that in there. I like how the A sticks out. So that's kind of nice. Now for this one, we might have to put something here so that we could see a word, or use one of the Tim Holtz words because they're not washy. They're actually solid. So I'm going to set this to the side while we find a good word. And it could be a little saying too, as long as it fits on there, it would be fine. How about these fond memories? So let's just take out this little thing. I hope that will fit on there. Oh, it won't with an eyelet though. It will not fit with an eyelet. How about, I need like one or two words. Let's use beauty. We have beauty right up here at the top. So you could ink it. You could do whatever you want to do. This word is so small. I'm just going to stick it on there. There we go. So it says beauty. It's got a little thing there. Maybe this is also a good one for a stamp. So when we use the stamps for this purpose, we're going to be sticking them down onto some scrap paper. Like if you have any type of offcut of cardstock or something like that, like I have a little piece here. So I'm just going to layer it up. I'm going to stick it down there and I'm going to cut it out, and I'm just going to wiggle my scissors. Just wiggle them around your stamp edge. So once you back it onto something, it becomes a charm. It doesn't have to be a sticker. If you back it on something, it becomes a charm, just like that. Now, if you want to ink it, because this was white cardstock underneath, then go ahead. There you go. And now this is a charm, and it can go right on top of here, just like that. And they can kind of flip through their little whatever it is there. So we're going to tap it down at the top, line everything up, make sure everything is all the way at the top. For this one, I want to put the eyelet in, so I'm going to use the larger hole right there. Grab an eyelet. Let's see. Let's use a white one. No, we don't. We want a bronze. That was a quick decision. We want a bronze one. Okay, so the bronze ones, they're a little bit bigger than the hole punch, and so they take a little bit of effort to get through. Maybe. Might be too many layers. In that case, there is a hole, a pokey tool right here, and all you need to do is just kind of go around in the circle and widen that hole a little bit, and then your eyelet usually goes in better. Usually. It doesn't like that sticker right there at the top. Well, while I fight with it, I'm sure it goes in there. While I fight with it, my goodness, it really does not want to go. I'm going to line them back up again. I will get it eventually. This can go in the blooper reel video. All else fails, take your hole punch and just widen that hole manually with your hole punch, and then your eyelet will go in. Hopefully. There it goes. Now we can poke our eyelet through and crimp it on. And then this one will go on a ball chain, just like that. And we'll put it through there. And this one can be attached many different places now because it has the ball chain. I'm going to attach it to a clip before I clip it. And we'll just clip this at the top of a journal. This might go in the French ones. It's the right color. I'm just going to make a bunch of these and have these on hand, and they can go in whatever journal if I can do it. There we go. Come on. My little fingers are not wanting to do it. There we go. So this is the way this one works. It will clip. It will clip on the front of something, and you'll have your little charm. And then these little guys here, you can move them so that they're crooked once the eyelet is in there. But you can see all the little layers. They're all movable. And that's kind of the point of it. So we have 3 done. And let's see what else we can make. Oh, this is a 23-minute video. We better call it, but I will make a bunch more and you guys will see them in the thumbnail of this video. So if you go out and go back in, look at the thumbnail, you guys will see all the finished examples. And I will see you guys again tomorrow. I hope that you get out your scraps, make some little charms, whether you use bulb pins or any of that kind of stuff. There's a million other things you could use. Get out your scraps, make some, let me know how you liked making them, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Bye.